Yes, it does. Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm senior counsel at Borden Ladner Gervais, having returned to the private sector after serving as Minister of Energy and Minister of Environment for the province of Alberta. In 2023, I released Alberta's Emission Reduction and Energy Development Plan, a plan to cut emissions to net zero by 2050 without compromising affordable, reliable, and secure energy. Since leaving government, I now spend a significant amount of my time working with and advising companies that are pursuing projects in the clean energy space. Let me state at the outset that the science is clear that global temperatures are rising and that urgent action is needed to reduce emissions. But urgency cannot simply ignore feasibility. Any climate roadmap needs to be achievable. It serves no purpose to pick rigid, inflexible targets that cannot be reached. Canada has a long history of missing targets, and we're not on track to meet 2030. This is unfortunate, but it's also not a surprise. To be successful, there needs to be collaboration, and that has been missing. Over the past decade, Ottawa has ignored advice from industry and trampled provincial jurisdiction. Fortunately, there are signs of a more pragmatic approach. I was encouraged to hear Prime Minister Carney say that a new climate competitiveness strategy will focus on results over objectives. If this means that both the climate and economy are important, then maybe the economic decline that we've seen can be curbed. A new climate competitiveness strategy could also better align provincial and federal climate plans and focus on areas that are working. 3 areas that come to mind are carbon capture, industrial carbon pricing, and critical minerals. Without carbon capture, it's not possible to achieve net zero. Alberta and Ottawa have already made significant progress incentivizing carbon capture. This is not just about the oil sands and the pathways initiative, but also about multiple sectors across the economy, from power generation to hydrogen, cement, fertilizer, petrochemicals, and steel. In 2022, Alberta awarded rights to 25 carbon sequestration hubs across the province. And what is needed for these hubs to be successful is supportive policy. Industrial carbon pricing, if priced right and left to the province to implement, can help attract investment into a low-carbon economy. Alberta's TIER program, which dates back to 2007, is a great example. That's why it was left in place in Alberta's 2023 climate plan. Without critical minerals such as lithium, cobalt, nickel, and uranium, energy transition is not possible. Developing a full value chain from extraction to processing and manufacturing should be an essential part of not only climate policy, but also economic, industrial, and foreign policy. There is a key characteristic to all 3 things I just mentioned, and that is collaboration with the provinces and industry. But there are other areas in Ottawa's climate plan that creates unnecessary conflict. The clean electricity regs and the oil and gas emissions cap are divisive policies that will lead to economic harm and constitutional challenges. The emissions cap, if implemented, will be a production cap. Industry says they can't meet the cap without reducing production. The result will be more capital moving to other jurisdictions, undermining Canada's ability to be a conventional and clean energy superpower. The clean electricity regs are unachievable for natural gas generators. Alberta's system operator, the ISO, says that there are no technical, affordable alternatives that can make compliance possible. In 2024, after getting completely off coal-fired electricity, Alberta's grid now relies on natural gas for 75% of total power, and much more power will be needed in the years ahead for electrification of both the transportation and heating. In conclusion, when Alberta developed its 2023 climate plan, I saw an opportunity to align climate policy with industrial policy. Climate policy, if done right, not only reduces emissions, but can also attract investments into new areas such as carbon capture, hydrogen, battery storage, clean tech, and renewables. It can also support oil and gas and kickstart the development of critical minerals. I see that same opportunity now if Canada's new climate competitiveness strategy can better balance climate and the economy to achieve the goal of being a conventional and clean energy superpower. I look forward to your questions.
Thank you, Mrs. Savage.